Alright guys, so I did go ahead and clean up my chart a little bit. As you can see, nice and neat. Even got the numbers on even. I've got weekly support sitting, or weekly at 79. I've got monthly at 77.2, and I got weekly at 75.5 and monthly at 73.7. Okay, so everything keeps simple. Now, one thing you got to understand is when price reaches these points, it's not an exact science. It doesn't mean that once price reaches 7,900, it's going to drop. Once price reaches down to 77,200, it's going to rise. Okay, these are just to give you guidelines so that you can build and see exactly what's happening. It's kind of like, the way I see it is, it's kind of like building a house. You know, you got to build some type of structure to fully understand the moves of what's going on. Okay, at any point in time, price can go either direction. And when you're looking at Forex, you got to understand that price goes three ways. Three ways only. Price either moves up, as in over here, or price moves down, as in over here. You also have price moves sideways. Probably about 70% of the time, you're going to see price moving sideways. Okay, price comes back, pulls back up, down, pulls back up, down, goes sideways, pulls up, goes sideways, pulls down, goes sideways, goes up, down, goes sideways. Okay, you're going to have these movements, but you got to understand also that price reacts to certain points. Okay, it really does, and by identifying those certain points using your trend lines is going to help you become successful. I don't like using this all the time, so I like to get rid of that. That way I have a full screen ahead of me. Okay, if you ever want to know what that is, and if you exit out of it, it's just your market watch. Click on that, and it's right there. All right, so let's go ahead and clean this up just a little bit more. Now, we can see that price is on a downward trend. Again, you can take a 5-year-old, ask him which way is it forming, and he's going to tell you it's going down. We all know it's going down. What we don't know is what price is going to do on the way up, or how far it's going to go up. That's where you got to identify higher highs and higher lows. That's is where this little comes into play. You got a high there. You've got a low over here. High over there. And a low over here. Okay. Whoops. Didn't mean to do that. Let's bring it up. Okay. I basically only use this on a 4-hour time frame, but this is your elliptical, okay, your little circles. I like to use everything on a 4-hour time frame, that because I'm not going to look at the bigger picture all the time. What I want to do is I always want to look left, find out what price is doing, and then I can judge on which way the market's going to go. Okay, as you can see, price did go ahead and come down here all the way to monthly support sitting at 73,700, and it's reacting. Price did go ahead and pull back up, came back down, and basically found a nice support zone in this block region. This is the low it's been on the pin, and this is the lowest that price breached all the way down here. Okay, and every time the price comes down here, it reacts. And as you can see, reaction over here, and also I'm paying attention to these highs as well, because when you have price come up here, you've got supply and demand. Okay, supply is down here. Once price comes down here, supply means that there's going to be a lot of orders being placed down there, waiting for the market to go, and then everybody's going to buy. Same thing up here. Okay, but what we got to understand is that sometimes these supply and demand zones are basically breached because it's happened, it's been retested, and most likely it might be breached again. But again, there's the possibility that price is going to go ahead and fill that order and then drop or rise depending on which way the market's going. Again, supply, orders bought, demand up here, orders dropped. Okay, so what you want to look for is your higher highs and higher lows. Same thing right here. Okay, now by drawing trend lines, it's also going to give you a better picture of what price is doing. Let's just go ahead and get rid of these real quick. And This is where your trend line is going to come in. Take it from the high. Whoops. Take it from the high. And what do we have? Got a very nice reaction. It's almost like magical. Almost magical. So we know, let's just say that price, this is where we're playing at right now. Price is coming back down. We know that we're on a downward trend, okay? But we have 1 point, we have 2 points. Now that we know that price is over here sitting at 77,200, it did go ahead and breach. Now we're looking to sell, okay? So you've got 0.1, you've got 0.2. Now you're saying to yourself, okay, if I get a third touch, I got a high probability that price is going to react and drop. So I'm just going to sit back and wait, let the markets come to me. Remember, you got to understand, give me a better price and I'll buy or sell depending on which way you're going. So as the market moves day to day, what does price do? Wait a minute, what just happened? We just had price come up here and it's stalling. It didn't hit it, but that's pretty darn close. You're talking probably, you're only talking about 20 pips away from the top of this to the top of that. Price goes sideways, comes back up. Now he actually touches it. When do you enter that trade? You enter it on the next candle. Okay, your high is going to be placed above that candle. Now this is going to be a huge stop because each candle is 1 day. Okay, so but this is going to give you a clear idea of how to understand and when to enter the market. Okay, remember, you're on a downward movement. We have a nice little trend line that held one time already. We're looking for the next touch. What do? We enter. Price came down to 77,200 and it breached. So now you've got a good idea that price, you have a good chance of price coming all the way down to your next level, which is going to be 75,500. That's where you're going to take profit. All right, so now that you took profit, now you're waiting. Now you've got 0.1, you've got 0.2. All right, so that worked the last time. Let's see what happens again. Here we go. Now that price goes in consolidation, pulls back up. You know this is a strong trend line because you've got 1, 2, this is the third touch. Price came up. When do you enter? You enter on the next candle. Price came here. You've got the moving averages to coincide with your downward movement. Price did go ahead and breach 75,500. And one thing I want to keep clear is when you have a trend line or anything like that, and it's very close to a major support zone or a resistance zone, depending on which way you're trading, most likely if it gets tapped, it's going to break it. Okay, especially when you're on this downward trend. Okay, now look at this right here. You've got price in a wedge. Okay, look from here to here. Okay, it's in a wedge pattern. What does it do? It drops, comes back. Your target is hit at your monthly support sitting at 73,700, and this is where we're at now. Okay, and I believe it was in another video that I think earlier this week where this is the next target. Okay, that is going to be my target, 7,500. Okay, so again, this has to be breached, and I think that it will be broken because we've got price coming up to 75,500. We're in the apex of this wedge. If we bring it out just a little bit more, you can see UFOs can come close to hitting airliners. Really? Fox News? Yeah, I listen to you. All right. And understand one thing. Once price gets into an apex on a wedge, a triangle, a pennant, most likely it's going to start breaking out. Okay, so this is what I'm expecting on this pair. I'm expecting once price breaches up here, possible pullback to tap these highs sitting over here. Come here, work with me. Once we get a break, price comes up here, pulls back, and then breaks above. Okay, and that's just what I'm waiting on. Whether it happens or not, it's hard to tell. Okay, but we still got to move the way the market moves. All right. Anyway, once price gets to this apex on this triangle, there's going to be a breakout going either direction. We're on a descending trend line. This is going to be the fourth touch. The fourth touch usually doesn't hold that strong. Okay, you can always expect that the third touch, most likely, probably about 80% of the time, it's going to react the same way it was the past couple times. Okay, you got touch 1, touch 2, touch 3. This is going to be touch 4. All right, so whether we break to the high or to the low, it's to be determined, but we'll get to that once the price reacts. Okay. So you got to understand that drawing these trend lines is going to be your second clue of taking that trade or finding out the direction of the trade. Okay, remember, we've got the second touch. On a strong trend line, you always want multiple touches. 2 is okay, 0.1, 0.2, but 3 is the critical barrier. That means it's a strong trend line. And what happens? Price comes back down, reacts right there. Your entry is on the next candle. And your next target should be, this should be target 1. Target 2 should be your next point of contact, which is going to be your support or resistance zone, depending on which way you're trading. And that's basically it. I mean, you've got everything that's going to work for you. It's just identifying when to enter the trade and when to basically stay out. Okay. So again, if we're selling, we know that we're on a downward movement. Price comes back up and reacts. You didn't enter the trade, but we got 0.1. Price comes back down. You know that this is a major support zone. It's on a monthly. Price hits it, pulls back up. Now you've got 0.2. Okay. Price pulls down. Price could not break and close above 7,900. That's your first clue to take your order. Your entry is on this next candle once it opens up. Your stop loss is above, and your target is going to be your next major zone. What does price do? Comes back down, breaks through, goes into consolidation, comes back up. You gave me one good trade. Give me another one. Okay, and also your moving averages cross right there as well. Okay, what does price do? Comes back up. You know that the overall direction is to the downside. Now you've got reaction over here again. This is your next touch. All right, you gave it to me once. We're coming to the apex, sitting right here. It's going to be a breakout, either up or down. Overall direction is to the downside. So let's go ahead and take that sell. You also have your moving averages cross. That's your second confluence. You're in there. You take profit at your next major zone. What does price do? Once more, goes back down, barely breaches your monthly support sitting at 73,700, comes back up, and you check 1, 2, 3 winning trades. Your entry is on this candle, or it could have been on this candle right here, the next one that opened. Your stop would have been placed up here, and your target is going to be your 73,700, which is your next major zone. Now we're getting to the apex over here. Remember, we're still on a downward trend, but you look at the weekly, look at all this rejection. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 full weeks of rejections. Price could not close. The close is this body, okay? We don't have a close below 73,700. That means you have a lot of buyers in that area. Once price comes down, it gets bought and pulls price up. So this is your first clue that we've got something going on. Okay. All right. So the next video I'm going to go into is going to be fibs, and that might be it for this weekend. All right, guys.